Open letter to Scott P. Sider, Executive Vice President and President of Rental Car and Leasing, the Hertz Corporation. To Mr. Sider, I wish to tell you about my recent rental experience with Hertz. Hopefully by the end of this letter you will understand why I have been telling everyone I know that I will never rent a car from Hertz again. Just recently I returned from a family wedding trip to Washington, D.C. and Virginia. Instead of feeling happy for the newlyweds, I am overwhelmed with anger and disappointment due to my rental car experience and expenses. Here is a list of grievances in more or less chronological order. Number 1, failure to notify me of non-transportation. When I reserved the rental car online, the site gave me the option to be picked up at my hotel in Washington, D.C. at 10 a.m. and be taken to the Hertz Verizon Center rental office a few blocks away. On the day this was supposed to happen, at about 9 a.m., I called to ask where I should be when I would be picked up and learned that I wouldn't be getting a ride. Were they going to tell me this, or did they just expect me to call? So because I expected them to pick me up at 10, my plans changed and I realized I would be a little bit late walking to the office. I called their office to make sure that it would be okay if I arrived at 10:30 a.m. They said that my car was ready and waiting and I could come and pick it up whenever I wanted. 30 minutes of my vacation was wasted here. Number 2, failure to have reserved car replaced with a behemoth. I arrived at the rental office and was informed that my car actually wasn't there and that I had only one option, renting a Nissan Armada at no additional cost. I needed space for luggage and 4 adults, so getting an SUV didn't sound that bad. We get into the car and couldn't figure out how to adjust the seats, so my poor wife had to drive the car in busy downtown traffic with impaired visibility. I look for an owner's manual and there isn't one. I eventually find 2 broken knobs that control the driver's seat adjustment. They were broken enough to be hard to find, but not broken enough not to work by getting out and working the buttons from the outside. Crisis averted. However, my wife was upset and angry and it ruined her day. Number 3, failure to compensate rider for additional gas expense. I wanted to reserve a mid-sized car, like a Chevy Malibu, but they gave us a gas-guzzling SUV with about half the gas mileage. Fuel cost to Abingdon, Virginia was doubled. Washington, D.C. office personnel unhelpful and not understandable. Sometime on the trip, I drove over a roofing nail. It's not leaking air, but I don't want to have a blowout or anything catastrophic because of it, so I call the DC Verizon Center office, and the guy there tells me to call AAA. So I call AAA, and they send a tow truck. I wait an hour for a tow truck, and then the tow truck driver tells me to drive the car to a particular auto shop. I wait there for at least another hour to get it fixed. In my opinion, the guy in the DC office should have referred me directly to the auto shop without me having to wait for the tow truck to do that. He had some kind of accent and his speech was slurred. Not a problem in itself, but it didn't help trying to decipher what he was trying to tell me to do. 1 hour of my vacation was wasted waiting for a tow truck driver that never really needed to come. Number 5, roadside assistance unable to help, plus no car manual. The Nissan Armada has a switch that enables it to go from a two-wheel drive vehicle to a four-wheel drive, to a two-wheel drive in a low gear mode. On Sunday, I used the four-wheel drive in low gear mode, and it remained in that mode no matter what I did to the switch or the vehicle. This means I couldn't go faster than 30 miles per hour without damaging the engine. So at 3 p.m., I called roadside assistance, hoping they could figure it out for me. They couldn't help over the phone, so they told me that the vehicle would need to be exchanged. They said that in an hour, a tow truck would come and pick up the Nissan and me and take me to an airport about 50 miles away. And then I would be given a replacement vehicle to drive back. Number 6, alternative solution not initially sought nor communicated. I didn't love the idea of waiting and driving all that time, so I called back, and a different roadside assistance guy told me that they would call the Tri-Cities Airport Hertz office to see if someone could drive my replacement car to me and take the tow truck back. They hung up, and that was the last I heard. I guess that solution was not possible, but they never called to tell me. So I wait until 5 p.m., 1 hour later than initially told, for the tow truck, and we ride together for an hour, getting lost at the airport because he wasn't given the directions on where to drop off the Armada. After a long wait at the counter, I finally get my keys and return to my desired location at 9 p.m., a full 6 hours after my initial call to roadside assistance. Because of this event, a full day of sightseeing and spending time with my wife was canceled. I missed out on a family dinner, and a local store had to shelter me from the heat and had to give me something to drink. Number 7, lack of an easy way to vent my grievances. When I returned my replacement vehicle at 6 p.m. at Washington, D.C., I was told that there were no managers available to discuss my problems with the rental. I returned home to a website that had many 1-800 numbers, but no one could find my rental record. I was finally led to a comment form in which to detail my problems. Finally, someone emailed my rental receipt, and the rental record number was listed. Perhaps now someone at Hertz can help repair the company's reputation with me. I have been very vocal with my family, friends, and co-workers and the internet about this experience, and have told them that unless I feel better about my experience, I will not rent with Hertz again. How could I make to feel better? A terrible rental company would simply apologize and perhaps offer vouchers for more of the same miserable experience. A good rental company would refund my credit card for the amount of travel time lost plus the extra gas expenses. A great company would refund the entire rental cost. I am an elementary school teacher who spends a lot of my summer vacation traveling and renting vehicles. I have 2 upcoming trips this fall being planned, neither of which will involve Hertz unless something is done to repair my feelings for your corporation. Respectfully and sincerely, Dante Salvatierra. No owls were harmed in the making of this video. Oops.